Yeah, I know. Hello, my fellow moviegoers, and welcome back to my channel. Yeah, I know, I look different, I shaved. So today I bring you my review for Annabelle Comes Home, aka Night at the Warrens Museum. If you watch the movie, you'll understand why. This movie stars McKenna Grace, Madison Iseman, Katie Sarif, and our favorite horror movie couple, Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson as Ed and Lorraine Warren. And it's also directed by Gary Delberman. Now, here's the cool thing about him. This is his first directorial movie, but he's been involved in the Conjuring universe for a while now. He was a writer for all three of the Annabelles, including this one. It one and the second one that's coming up soon. And The Nun. And he was also a producer for La Llorona and The Nun. So yeah, he's knows a little bit about the franchise because he's worked on it. To sum this movie up, a babysitter and her friend spend the night with the daughter of the famous paranormal hunting couple, Ed and Lorraine Warren. While snooping around, they accidentally awaken the evil spirit living inside of the infamous doll, Annabelle. So, straight off the bat, you know, this is the 7th movie in the Conjuring franchise. So, if you're not a fan of the Annabelle movies or of the Conjuring movies, then I really don't suggest you go watch any of the ones that are coming up. So what I really enjoyed about this film is that I really enjoyed McKenna's, Madison's, and Katie's performance, which is the Warren's daughter, the babysitter, and her friend. I really enjoyed their performance in this film. I thought it was really, really well done. I really connected with the characters too. There's obviously a lot of teenage love and a lot of teenage horror. So it kind of alludes back to that 80s kind of style of slasher films, which I really, really enjoyed. You know, the babysitter is in love with the guy next door. You know, if he's not the bad boy, he's kind of like the nerdy kid, and then he tries to be a bad boy. It's so good, and I really enjoyed that aspect. So I might be a little bit biased when it comes to that because if you don't know, I'm a really big fan of slasher films. Even the bad ones, I enjoy them. So that kind of aspect felt like very 70s, 80s horror movie, which makes sense because the film is set in the 70s, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I really enjoyed that aspect of the movie. I really connected with it. It really brought back memories from 80s horror movies that I've seen before, and I just enjoyed it overall. Another thing that I really enjoyed was, you know, the horror movie trope. Horror movie tropes, you know, making bad decisions, the car won't start, that creepy cat, the build up and then a jump scare. All of these are considered horror movie tropes. This film plays a little bit with that in the sense that in the bad decisions area or category, if you will. Obviously, like any horror movie, there's going to be bad decisions, and there's a lot of them in this film, don't get me wrong. But there's a certain big bad decision that you kind of understand why the character did that bad decision. So I can't really blame the character for doing that bad decision. I really connected with it. I think a lot of people are going to connect with that bad decision. Obviously, I'm not going to say what it is, so you guys can watch it. Hey, it's Fresh from the editing booth. I also wanted to add that something that I really admired about this film was that they play with the audience perception and how a jump scare is going to happen. I won't say exactly where in the film, but there's a very cool moment in the film where it looks like a jump scare is going to happen, and it doesn't. And I feel that that was done very, very well. I don't know, I feel like I had to add that because that was a very memorable moment from the movie. And I really enjoyed that they played with the audience expectation, and they did something different that I didn't expect, honestly. It was really well done. Anyways, back to the video. Now, what I found bad about the movie, or at least what I didn't enjoy about it, I wanted more of the Warrens. Someone is banging outside of my...
A few moments later.
Anyways, I wanted more of the Warrens. You know, I think one of the cool things about the Conjuring universe is that, you know, someone is banging outside of in the hallway. I'm not gonna go outside just in case, but it's freaking me out a little bit. That you hear that? What is that? I just checked is that they're doing construction. We're good. But like I was saying, one of the cool things I think about The Conjuring is that they share the universe. You know, all these movies are connected in the same world. So I loved the idea that we're finally going to see more of the Warrens, because I think the best aspect of the Conjuring series is the Warrens, because of the Conjuring films. So I really wanted to see more of them. I didn't get a lot of them, and I gotta thank this movie for that, because I was really expecting more of them, and I felt that, you know, there's something about the movie that feels like left out when you don't see them. Also, there are many predictable moments in this film. That's one of my pet peeves when it comes to horror. When you start expecting when the jump scare is gonna come, but at the same time, it's kind of like it's kind of weird, because, for example, there's sometimes where I kind of like that aspect of a horror movie when you kind of expect something coming up and then nothing happens, and then the jump scare. You know, that's where the excitement builds up, or the adrenaline builds up. But at the same time, when you do it for the entire movie, that's when it starts becoming repetitive, and like, I've seen this before, I knew that was gonna happen. You know, I think one of the cool opportunities about doing horror movies in our day and age is that we've seen so many that I would say that it should lead directors and filmmakers to invent new and exciting and creative ways to make jump scares. So yeah, I think there was a lot of predictable moments in this film. I also, and like I said, some of the decisions were bad, but some are justified, or at least one of them is justified. And finally, I feel that they made this movie specifically to introduce upcoming Conjuring villains, and I don't know how I feel about that. You know, when I see a movie, I want to have a good time. I want to make, but not only have a good time, but that it's a good movie as well. You know, one that I can recommend to people and they'll probably enjoy it too. So that's one of my biggest problems with this movie. I feel that this movie literally was made to introduce new characters, so that when we see them in the future, unlike what happened with La Llorona, we're like, where did this character come from? How does it connect to the Conjuring universe? Why is it connecting? This came out of nowhere. So they were like, you know what? Let's just introduce some of them in this movie, and then we'll make movies on them, and they already know them. So it's kind of like Valak with the nun in The Conjuring 2. She was introduced in The Conjuring 2, and then a movie was made about the nun, Valak. But here's the difference. I feel that they really did it correctly with The Conjuring. Just because the nun wasn't that great, or wasn't great at all, I still feel that was the step in the right direction. The main villain from The Conjuring 2, a good scary villain. They're going to make their own movie on the nun, on Valak, to see where the nun came from, or the demon, or whatever, the evil spirit. I feel that was a step in the right direction. What they did in this movie, I don't feel this is a step in the right direction, because it honestly feels like they, forget that we're making a good movie. We're just concentrating on bringing new characters so that people aren't confused in the future. And I didn't like that. I want to see a good movie straight off the bat. Now, if you can make a good movie and introduce new characters, that's awesome. That's great. That's what being part of the universe is. But if you give me a bad movie and introductions, then it just makes me feel that you just made this movie to introduce these characters. Don't get me wrong, some of them are cool, but make a good movie first and then introduce characters. So yeah, there's nothing in the credits. You don't need to stay during the credits. You can head out, go to the restroom, go home. You don't need to stay during the credits. There's a cool song, though, during the credits that I enjoyed. It's the first song they put in the credits. It came straight out of left field, but I found it amusing. So if you want to stay for that, go ahead. And they got some cool artsy, scary pictures about the movie. So if you want to stay for that, go ahead. You should stay. So yeah, overall, I give this movie 3 Annabelles out of 5. I had a blast watching it. There's a few things I gotta criticize because I am a movie critic, so I gotta, or at least I'm trying to be. So I need to be as intermediate as I can, you know, balance. I enjoyed the film. I recommend anybody to go watch it if you just want to have a good time watching a horror movie, you know, with friends, with loved ones, with your girlfriend, boyfriend, however you want. I would definitely recommend watching this movie. Don't take kids. Please don't. It's just a bad decision. And yeah, I give it 3 Annabelle dolls out of 5. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you watching another review. If this is your first time on my channel, thank you so much for watching this far. Please go ahead and like, subscribe, comment down below whatever other things you want me to review. I also did a react video if you haven't seen it. I think I posted like 2 weeks ago, a week ago, something like that. So you want to go check it out. That one was really fun to make. And leave down in the comments if you want me to react to any other scary videos, or send me some too at my social media, which is everything in the description. Overall, just thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.